We have a lot to talk about here for Vanguard's multiplayer, from an early gameplay preview to new details on the maps, destructible environments, early access beta information, and a lot more. If you guys are new and would like to subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate that, and be sure to drop a like on the video as well. First off, if you guys haven't seen, only in a couple of short days since the Vanguard reveal trailer has been released, it already has 18 million views, which is kind of crazy. Black Ops Cold War's reveal trailer last year only has 11 million views in total. Battlefield's new reveal trailer has 19 million views, so Vanguard's trailer already caught up to that pretty much, but nothing compares back to Black Ops 2's reveal trailer with 38 million views. I don't think Vanguard's gonna get up to that point, but it is still kind of impressive to see in only a couple days about 20 million views on this trailer. What's weird is that Vanguard only has about 100,000 likes on the trailer. Cold War, with about 10 million less views, has over 400,000 likes, and Battlefield, with the same amount of views as Vanguard pretty much, has over 1 million likes. So I'm not saying that Vanguard's trailer was, view botted or anything, but it is kind of weird to see. I know for Battlefield, the 1 million likes on that trailer kind of makes sense. The community was really waiting for this game to be revealed. It had a huge positive reaction, so that makes sense to have all of those likes there. Cold War, I guess there was a decent amount of hype when that game was revealed, but maybe for Vanguard, there's just a lot of people in general that are interested in seeing what this game is going to be all about. But before we go through the multiplayer info for Vanguard, we have some more confirmation for some big gameplay reveals happening for Vanguard this week. Jeff Keighley informs us that this Wednesday see the first raw, real next-gen gameplay of Call of Duty Vanguard during Gamescom opening night live. Don't miss an extended level playthrough with special guests Laura Bailey and Sledgehammer Games. Watch live at openingnightlive.com. So I will be streaming this on my channel. We'll be reacting to it, breaking it down live. Definitely super excited to see what this campaign looks like. Of course, a lot of the influencers probably already saw this campaign gameplay, but pretty much for everyone else, this will be the first time we're seeing some first-person campaign gameplay for Vanguard. Now, the reveal trailer gave us a sneak peek of that, and don't get me wrong, it looked really cool, but it's not actual gameplay. It's just cinematic, so what really matters here is what the actual campaign looks like, and based on everything we've been hearing, it seems like a really beautiful campaign, so we'll see for ourselves this Wednesday. And here are the times up on screen when this Gamescom event will begin. Again, I'll be streaming it at these times, so be sure to pull up. Should be a lot of fun there. But before that happens, we're going to get our first sneak peek at Vanguard multiplayer gameplay, our first preview as early as tomorrow. This was an official announcement from Call of Duty when Vanguard was first revealed. Tune into COD Sunday for a sneak peek at Call of Duty Vanguard. Get a sneak peek of Call of Duty Vanguard's multiplayer during Championship Sunday. Watch our live broadcast on Sunday, August 22nd, which is tomorrow, for the big reveal. I will also be streaming this because I am even more excited to see what this MP is all about. And we've been talking about on the channel, there have been so many leaks and rumors about this MP being a combination of Modern Warfare 2019 in terms of movement system and graphics, some Cold War vibes mixed in terms of some of the colors and stuff like that. I've been seeing people saying that there are some Black Ops 1 vibes thrown in here as well, so there are a lot of questions, at least from me, about how exactly this multiplayer is going to look, how it's going to work, how it's going to play. So this preview will be very important for me and most fans interested in Vanguard's multiplayer. And of course, as I'm going to talk about in the rest of this video, there are a bunch of leaks about this early Vanguard MP preview. A lot of people have already seen it, influencers, a bunch of different leakers. I don't know how they saw it, but there are ways people get this info, get this early gameplay. So we're going to go through what they saw, what we have here, a bunch of really interesting multiplayer details, what exactly will be shown in this first-person MP preview. Let's break it all down here. So first off, of course, from Tom Henderson, it looks like the sneak peek of Vanguard's multiplayer gameplay this Sunday will be the 1-minute preview shown at the press briefing a couple of weeks back. This is the same gameplay myself, Ghost of Hope, Okami, MW2 Ghost have described. He goes on to say, just watched about 2 minutes of Vanguard's multiplayer, and I'm hoping it's not shown at CDL Champs this Sunday. it looks like the person playing has either terrible aim or is purposefully shooting the wooden structures just to show the feature off, which is kind of funny. There's a lot of instances where the player is trying to shoot another player, but just ends up shooting boarded up windows, bookshelves, and pretty much anything made of wood. Just been informed that this was dedicated to showing off the destructible environments, but it definitely was a bit much even for just showing off a new feature. Even Gunfight was shooting through windows and wooden panels. So it seems like, again, the highlight for this first look at the Vanguard multiplayer preview, all that good stuff, it's going to be more about the destructible environments, how you could shoot down barriers and different little things on the map. I personally don't mind them doing that in the MP preview. I know we want to see probably some normal multiplayer gameplay of people running around, shooting players, going through a map, stuff like that. But Sledgehammer focusing on this new feature still gives us a look of the graphics, the movement system of this Vanguard multiplayer, and other stuff like that, what the maps look like and how they play. So it's still going to give us a really good idea as to how the multiplayer is, but maybe it'll just be a bit weird to look at. So hopefully they do show, I want to see as much as possible, hopefully they do show this stuff, even if it's for the purpose of just showing off this new feature in the game. Some more stuff here on the early multiplayer preview. Okay, watching more multiplayer, and I do kind of like the look of the maps I'm seeing so far. They're looking like a mixture of Modern Warfare 2019, of course, World War II themed, just in terms of realism and of course being on the same engine, and Black Ops 1. I'm mainly seeing close quarters combat inside of buildings. He goes on to clarify what exactly he means by this here, and he's saying from the gameplay that he's seen, from the maps that he's seen gameplay of, there are a lot of close quarter combat situations inside of the buildings, but that doesn't necessarily mean the maps are really small and close quarters as well. It could be a situation like some of the Modern Warfare 2019 maps where they were generally medium to large, but a lot of really tight areas in the buildings themselves, which I'm personally not the biggest fan of. If there are a couple of maps like this in Vanguard, it's nice to mix things up, and I definitely welcome them as long as we have some good normal 6v6 maps that are generally smaller, not too much crazy stuff going on, weird layouts. I don't know about you guys, a lot of the MW 2019 maps had really just interesting and unique layouts that didn't really make sense for normal 6v6 multiplayer, maybe a bit more for ground war or other S&D type modes, but for normal 6v6 domination, let's say, it kind of was annoying to play on. So hopefully a lot of these maps here are not like this. It's good to mix things up though, and we'll see what they do very soon. Some more leaks here. The destruction in multiplayer is really good. It's not the same every time. Things crumble and break in different ways, which is definitely good to hear. You don't want some type of gimmicky mechanic in all of the MP maps where you have that same fence, you shoot it down, you blow it up, and it crumbles in the same exact way every time. It will definitely get a bit old, so it crumbling in different ways as you shoot it and blow it up in different angles, definitely a cool little feature there. But I want to give you guys a different opposing point. Tom Henderson actually says this about the destructible environments. To him, it looks like they have just gone a bit too over the top with the destructible environments just for the sake of it. Every window is boarded up. Every alleyway is boarded up. There are a lot of wooden covers so people can just shoot them down. For example, on a traditional Call of Duty map with a flank route, it seems like in Vanguard, there's going to be a wooden fence on that route now, so you just have to shoot it down or whatever. I'm hoping the footage is dedicated to showing off boarded up structures. I mean, this is kind of a weird situation because I guess it's not that intrusive. Once you shoot it down or blow it up, it's not going to be that big of a deal. It's not going to come back in the middle of the game, but it might be a bit annoying for every area on the MP map to just be boarded up. I mean, it's going to be a little weird. I guess for the start of the game, you're going to have to just play a bit differently, so I don't mind that change, honestly. Seems kind of cool. We'll see how it is in the MP itself, but I don't know, it seems kind of weird if they're doing it just for the sake of having a bunch of destructible features everywhere. But it's still way too early to tell if this is a good feature or not. We have to actually play the alpha, the beta, the game itself to see for ourselves if this is a good addition, and that will be very, very soon. It seems that the holding hand in front of you when you get a Molotov stun thrown at you is back, how it was in Cold War before the patch, but not as prominent in Vanguard, which is definitely interesting to see. Some maps will have explosive barrels on them, and boy do they explode when you shoot them. Looks incredible. This is a World War II game, so it makes complete sense to have a bunch of explosive barrels all over the map. A lot of multiplayers already have explosive barrels no matter the time period. Cold War has it right now, so they're not as prominent, but with Vanguard, it seems like it might be a bigger deal. It might be a bit more of an extravagant explosion when it happens. Again, not a big feature, pretty cool nonetheless. It's safe to say windows are the new thing in Vanguard, like doors were in Modern Warfare 2019. So I don't know how I feel about this. I think windows, I mean, it sounds a bit better than the doors in Modern Warfare. I'd like to think that windows in this game are going to be a bit less intrusive than the doors in Modern Warfare. The doors really just mess with the flow of the game, at least for me. So windows don't seem to be that intrusive. You could just go through a door or other openings, but it's just a cool little feature there. So I don't know how that's going to work. We'll see very soon. Probably a bunch of the windows you don't need to open up. You can just probably shoot them down, which is also cool to see as well. So again, the beta alpha will get to experience all of these different new features in this MP and see if they're actually intrusive or they're just cool little side features just for the effect of the multiplayer. Seems to be a lot of flinch in multiplayer, a lot. Haven't seen it with a sniper though, so it is kind of annoying to have flinch. It seems like also the gunsmith is going to be a lot more in-depth than it was in Cold War. Now in Vanguard's multiplayer, this will be a lot more useful. If you have flinch on these weapons, you really need to combat this with certain attachments, specific setups here. It seems like how you make your classes in MP will matter a bit more than it may have in other past games. He also goes on to say, I'm confident that Vanguard maps are going to be really good for search and destroy, which I think again is cool in theory. Good S&D maps are really fun, but that's what happened with Modern Warfare 2019. The maps were really sick for S&D, but for the core 6v6 gameplay, for fast-paced action, it was just a bit weird. So maybe the maps that are really big, super close quarters indoors, but super big on the outside, those maps are really good S&D maps. But again, hopefully, and we don't know for sure yet, hopefully there are other maps that just are a bit more normal. Cold War actually did this kind of well. A lot of the DLC maps, even for Cold War, are pretty good in terms of the layouts there. Some of the other Cold War maps, not as much, but for Vanguard, as long as we have a good mix, I don't mind having some of that as well. We also have an important update on the blind firing feature in Vanguard's multiplayer. The blind firing mechanic in Vanguard is apparently not that bad and is the equivalent of shooting hip fire whilst running, so it has a pretty big spread. Save this tweet though, because no doubt it will bite me in the ass when we're all being killed by campers from it. And he goes on to say, please don't tie camo challenges to features such as leaning and blind firing. Thank you from the COD community. So I definitely agree with that. Don't want any camo challenges for that type of stuff. But blind firing, again, like I said before, we don't know exactly how it's going to be in multiplayer, but my theory was that it's not going to be that big of a deal. There's no way they're going to add blind firing to Call of Duty and make it super overpowered and annoying. It's going to be not a gimmick, but almost like a gimmick where you do it sometimes. It might be useful in certain situations, but most of the time, you're better off just normally running and gunning, aiming down sights, doing stuff like that. And blind firing is just a little feature to make things a bit more interesting, and maybe for specific situations, it might prove to be really useful. Now, some info on how to play Vanguard's multiplayer early, the alpha and the early access beta. So here's the information for the beta that they officially announced. Early open beta access. Pre-order any edition, digital or physical, before the Call of Duty Vanguard beta, and you receive early access to the open beta first on PlayStation. Specific dates will be revealed in the coming weeks. So you could pre-order any edition of the game and get access to this early beta. But for the alpha, things might be a bit different. For sure, we know that this alpha is going to be PlayStation only, but it may be the case where you don't even need to pre-order to play this alpha. It might just be a PlayStation alpha for Vanguard multiplayer, the new Champions Hill mode that we talked about in previous videos, and it's open to everyone. So no confirmation on that, but I have a theory that that might be the case. And here's some dates as to what we're seeing for the alpha and the beta for PlayStation exclusive and all platforms as well. So of course we got the reveal ready. We know tomorrow on Sunday we're getting an early look at the multiplayer for Vanguard. We know this Wednesday we're getting our first look at the gameplay for the campaign, and apparently Thursday through the 29th, this weekend, we're getting this early Vanguard alpha, and that should be announced potentially tomorrow when we get our first MP gameplay, which is really exciting. And a few weeks later, we have the PlayStation beta that weekend in September. That's for PlayStation only. If you pre-order, if you're on PlayStation, you'll get access to this beta. The next weekend after, it's the beta for everyone. So pretty standard here, how it works with the past couple of games. For past Call of Duty betas, we've also had a thing where PlayStation players could start playing the weekend beta early, starting on a Wednesday. Xbox and PC would have to start on Friday, and PlayStation would pretty much have extended weekends here, which is super, super cool. I don't know if that's going to be the same thing this time around, if they're just doing a strictly PlayStation only weekend and then a strictly everyone weekend the next weekend after. Overall, definitely does suck that PlayStation is getting the exclusivity anyway. It would be nice for everyone to be able to play it at the same time, but unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And I'll be sure to give you guys more updates on the early alpha and beta when we get them. And that's pretty much it here for this video. Let me know down below, what are you hyped to see in Vanguard's multiplayer specifically? Any new feature you guys want to see? The maps, how you guys want that to look? The graphics, do you like it being a mixture of Cold War, Modern Warfare, maybe even Black Ops 1. We'll see what they mean by that very soon. But yeah, there are 2 videos up on screen that may interest you, so be sure to check one of them out. Really do appreciate it, guys. Shout out to the YouTube channel members as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video or live stream. Peace out, guys.